With the assistance of her sister Emily, Cecilia Cass manages to flee her aggressive and manipulative husband Adrian Griffin, an optics scientist, in the middle of the night. Cecilia had given Adrian a diazepam prescription, but as she runs away, she releases their dog, which activates the car's alarm and enrages Adrian, who chases after her. Adrian discovers Cecilia's drug bottle laying in the road as she and Emily make their getaway. After a span of 2 weeks, Cecilia finds refuge at the residence of her closest friend James Lanier, along with his adolescent daughter Sydney. Cecilia, who has remained a recluse and fears leaving the house, becomes extremely nervous when Emily pays her a visit because she thinks Adrian is going to try to hurt her. Emily does, however, break the news that Adrian killed himself. Cecilia only takes his brother Tom's inheritance and riches, which he left to her in order to support James's household and Sydney's college expenses. But Cecilia has a nagging feeling that someone is watching her and that something dark is pursuing her at night that only she can see. While sleeping next Sydney in the middle of the night, the covering is gradually removed, revealing many flashes of light. When Cecilia awakens, she questions the blankets at the foot of the bed. They resist her attempts to move them back. Sydney and James are awakened by her reaction, but she is unable to articulate what she believes she has seen. Cecilia attends a job interview for a career as an architect. Cecilia finds her portfolio missing and passes out as she opens it to view her work. Upon visiting the hospital, Cecilia learns she was given drugs. After going back home, she gets a call from the doctor informing her that her fainting episode was caused by a moderate overdose of diazepam. Abruptly, she discovers the diazepam bottle Adrian had discovered. Cecilia visits Emily, who is upset and dejected after receiving a terrible email from Cecilia's account, since she feels insecure. When Cecilia checks her email and sees the sent message, she breaks down in tears. When Sydney tries to comfort her, she is attacked by an invisible force, which makes Sydney panic and think Cecilia was the one who killed her. Sydney will then be taken out of the house and into a safer location by James. Meanwhile, Cecilia investigates the house and finds her work in the attic crawlspace, as well as a large kitchen knife of James's and several photos of her asleep, which have been taken by an unseen stalker. Realizing she is not alone, Cecilia dumps a bucket of paint on the ladder when she senses movement and uncovers a man's shape wearing some kind of suit. The man flees and washes off the paint before Cecilia exits the attic. The two fight until Cecilia breaks free from his grasp and escapes the house, getting into a lift car she has called. Cecilia has the driver bring her to Adrian's. Upon entering her husband's house and sneaking into his laboratory, Cecilia discovers a high-tech suit he was working on that could make him invisible. Cecilia takes this suit and hides it, but is attacked by the invisible man until her dog returns and intervenes, buying her time to escape. Cecilia finds her husband working on a high-tech outfit that could render him invisible after breaking into his lab covertly. When Cecilia hides this suit, the invisible man attacks her, but her dog comes back and stops him, giving her enough time to flee. Emily and Cecilia schedule a rendezvous at a restaurant where Cecilia apologizes and declares her love for Emily. As they become closer, Cecilia tells Emily that she discovered an invisibility suit in Adrian's lab, which causes Emily's mistrust to start to fade. Emily is suddenly killed by having a big knife dragged across her throat. After Cecilia is given the knife, she is taken into custody and admitted to a mental health facility. Cecilia gives in, now questioning her own sanity and learning she is expecting Adrian's child, but Tom confronts her and tells her he was collaborating with his brother the entire time. If she doesn't bring his child back to Adrian, Tom threatens to take away her riches and send her to this facility forever. Still furious that he killed her sister, Cecilia declines. Cecilia snatches one of Tom's pens before he departs. Cecilia prepares to cut her wrist with the pen in her chamber, but the invisible man intervenes. After using herself as bait to lure him out of hiding, Cecilia stabs him twice with the pen, causing his suit to glitch and him to appear and disappear at random. Cecilia rushes out into the hall, where several security guards see the glitching figure and are also stopped by the invisible man, who easily overpowers them before making his escape into the stormy night. Cecilia tracks him down, but he overpowers her and declares that he will now target Sydney. James rushes home when Cecilia informs him of the danger, only to discover his daughter being attacked by an invisible figure. Sydney is scared as James tries to step in and gets brutally thrashed. Breaking in, Cecilia uses a fire extinguisher to spray the figure, exposing his form, and then she attacks him with a fallen officer's weapon. The invisible man collapses onto the ground, succumbing to his injuries. Tom is revealed to be the Invisible Man, as Cecilia takes off his disguise. When a SWAT squad raids Adrian's home, they discover him walled up and chained. James clarifies that although the evidence points to Tom using his brother as a means of attacking Cecilia, she is adamant that Adrian and Tom were conspiring, and that Adrian had prepared Tom to be the fall guy in the event of an emergency. Cecilia, who is still anxious about what happened, gives Adrian a call and decides to go out to dinner. With James waiting outside the property, Cecilia is wearing a listening device in the hopes of getting a confession out of him. Adrian initially says he wasn't stalking her when Cecilia asks, but he subsequently makes it seem like he was preying on her. Adrian starts to notice something else is wrong as Cecilia excuses herself to go to the restroom, when all of a sudden his head is wrenched back and his throat is sliced. Adrian falls to the ground, dying from internal bleeding. Entering the room, Cecilia looks surprised before reporting an apparent suicide in a panicked manner to the police. Then, Cecilia gloats over Adrian's corpse, hinting that she used his invisible suit to accomplish this. When James arrives, he discovers Cecilia running away with Adrian's dog and clothing. James lets her go even after learning that she set this up with the intention of killing him. Cecilia disappears into the night, maybe with the intention of robbing her husband of his labor for her own gain later on.